And after celebrating 40 years next year, having a chance to kind of look back of who's gone through the program, what we've done, what we've learned, what's changed, and looking to the future, because DeKalb County, just so many opportunities, arts and culture and tourism, and it's just pretty cool.
Hello, welcome to another installment of DeKalb Talks Tourism. Today we have a special guest in our studio, Shara Sanders, who I've actually known for quite a while, but I have to look at your name anyway. Shara Sanders is the President, CEO, Executive Director
yes,
of Leadership DeKalb, which is a very prominent organization here in DeKalb. And before we get into the organization, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from, went to school, things like that.
Sure, great. Thank you again for having me. I'm very excited to be here. Shara Sanders. I grew up in Orlando, Florida. Went to school in South Carolina at Presbyterian College and got my English degree, then went to Florida State and got my biology degree. I was in between law and medicine. I realized quickly that I can't go into medicine if you faint at the sight of blood and needles.
That's true.
I quickly pivoted back to law and came up here in 1996 after the Olympics to go to Emory Law School. And so I practiced law for a while until my daughter was 2. And I took some time off, and while I was doing that, I got involved with the Junior League of DeKalb County. And while I was there, I became president, and while I was president-elect, I went through the Leadership DeKalb program in 2016, 2017. So that was kind of life-changing for me. It opened my eyes to how much there is in DeKalb and how much it has to offer. And came onto the board of Leadership DeKalb in 2019. And had gone back to practicing law at that point. And then about 2022 actually, they asked me to be interim executive director. So I practiced law part-time and was interim executive director part-time for about 18 months until they asked me to come on permanently, and that was December of 2023. And so I've been here. If that makes sense, yeah. I guess it was 2022. Yeah, that's so 2023. So now I've been here, starting my 4th year.
So you were going into English, you said?
I was, yeah.
Biology.
Yes.
What did you finally get your Florida State degree in?
Biology.
So it was biology.
Yep. I thought I would do environmental law. I thought, okay.
Okay, because I was trying to figure out biology to law.
Right.
So, but environmental law makes a lot of sense.
It does, but I ended up not doing that because.
So what was your forte in law?
Labor and employment law,
okay.
And then kind of pivoted into more general litigation, but kind of a.
Well, for labor and employment, that's pretty cool, but it ties to, I would assume, to Leadership DeKalb.
It does, and that's when I active member of the bar still, used my law degree. I've used it in the nonprofit world when I wasn't practicing law, and now with Leadership DeKalb, I use it all the time. Just with, right now we went through like a bylaws revision, working on policies, looking at contracts and agreement, things like that. So.
Oh yeah, we have an attorney and a lot of stuff. You mean it's like feast or famine for us.
Yeah, yes.
We have years of not really doing anything, and then all of a sudden we got a bunch of stuff that we're looking at right now.
And the law keeps changing. So you're recently looking at some of the changes that may be coming for nonprofit organizations and just things we need to look at or be aware of. Things like the IRS tax reporting, or for instance, IRS they don't require kind of policies about conflict of interest, whistleblower, things like that. So it's constantly trying to kind of keep updated on what is required or making sure.
Well, conflict of interest is always a fun one for us because since we are tourism, we are sponsorships and grants.
Yes.
So with our board, some of them are our key producers of things.
Yes.
So we have to be very clear on that one because you're on the board. You got to the board because you were doing so many events for us, but then now you're on the board. Now you got to abstain from voting on events that you were already getting money from.
Yes.
So it's quite interesting.
It is, and it's also the political activity. being a nonprofit and a 501c3, where we have to remain kind of neutral,
Right.
nonpartisan, but a lot of our leaders, go on. Majority, because goodness, I think it was last year's ballot, or in June of 2024, where I think 90% of the people on the DeKalb County ballot were Leadership DeKalb alumni. So we have to be, careful.
Well, it's interesting. I was in Indiana, and it was a stronghold of Chicago politics, Northwest Indiana. But I had the second most powerful Democrat sat me down right when I got started. He was the mayor of East Chicago, and he made it real clear. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I don't vote in the primaries. I don't go to any parties, any fundraisers, any events. I'm for tourism, and that's all I care about. And I've lived by that since then.
That's smart. And that's one of the policies, because, I get asked, should I or can I go to something? Well, what's the policy? And we don't have a policy. So
we don't have that policy. That's my policy. I just
like
used for the last 20-some years.
I like that.
It's just my own personal thing, because you go to one party, well, you got to go to them all. You support one candidate, well, you could be really. I had a friend of mine he played politics, and he lost his job and all. And I don't want to play politics. I want you for tourism, or figure out how to get you for tourism.
Yes.
So with all that,
yes.
Tell us about Leadership DeKalb.
Well, I'd be happy to. So, as you mentioned, we're a leadership development program. We've been around since 1986. 1986, we're coming up on our 40th year, and the DeKalb Chamber of Commerce created Leadership DeKalb back then. In 1994, we broke off into an independent nonprofit at that point. And so since that time, or since 1986, we've had over 1,600 alumni who've gone through the program. And it's just about a 10-month program. We have applications, kind of a competitive application process. This last year, we had close to 130 applications, and we have 60 people in the class this year, which in the beginning, they were about 35, I think, were maybe in the first class back in 1986. My class in 2017 had about 56 or so. So this is our largest class that we've had. But it was just very, very hard to narrow down with that many. And all of them, my gosh, I wish I could take them all, because I think it's such a valuable program. But we go through each month, it's a different a topic or focus on areas of DeKalb County. So we go from the history of DeKalb County, the government, the criminal justice system, health, education, economic development, arts and culture, and we also have our core values day, where we kind of just as a leader, what are our core values for Leadership DeKalb, like diversity, equity, inclusion, integrity, and ethics, and things like that. So we cover that.
So who would you say, and this might put you on the spot, who would you say is your biggest graduate? Maybe not, you could say the one that went through it, or who's become the highest level from the program?
Specifically in DeKalb County, I think Madam CEO Lorraine Cochran-Johnson, she's was class of 2020 with multiple other DeKalb County commissioners. I think each class has a tagline. Everybody says I'm sure you've heard, the best class ever.
Oh, yeah, yes. Your dinner is like nonstop.
It is, best class ever. But each one kind of has a different tagline. And I think class of 2020 was the most elected officials class, or things like that. But that's the locally kind of the most prominent alumni right now. I know in the past we've had the Attorney General for the state of Georgia from, I think, maybe have been 1986, 1987, one of those first classes. School superintendents. We've had, Dr. Horton went through it last year, and he was great, and I'm really excited that he went through the program. So those are kind of the two that come to top of mind just from recent.
So what do you think is the coolest thing you all do every year?
Ooh, a couple things. We have our opening retreat and our closing retreat. This year we're going up to Lanier Islands Resort. We've been, again, we always try to stay in DeKalb and support DeKalb businesses and vendors, but we realized that it's hard for folks to get away. from their jobs. We're all leaders, and it's hard to kind of disconnect and really connect with your classmates. So this year we're going to Lanier Islands Resort, and that just seeing kind of that bonding experience and seeing the class go from opening retreat to closing retreat, where we've been at Emory Conference Center, and we've started doing a bowling party. At the Wisteria Lanes. That's been really nice, but just kind of seeing the contrast between opening retreat and how folks are kind of awkward and getting to know each other to closing retreat, where I'm like, all right, guys, we got to go to bed. So that's kind of exciting to see that. But also one of the favorites, Arabia Mountain. We usually go on our history day, our arts and culture day, and we go to Arabia Mountain, walk up to the top with Ranger Robbie.
Now, let's say the celebrity of Arabia.
And I think it's so exciting because people never even knew it was there, and they just think it's a little easier walk than walking to the top of Stone Mountain, and it's just beautiful. It's got a lot of history, so I think that, and then exposing folks to things they just never knew were in DeKalb. And just learning about, we hear that all the time. I never knew this was here. I never heard about this. I never knew about this. And we also do on Health Day. We go to Grady Hospital, and that's people are like, well, that's not in DeKalb County, but it's the Fulton DeKalb Hospital Authority. It's kind of that partnership. And so doing a tour of Grady is really interesting. And then with Sheriff Melody Maddox, she was in my class of 2017, we do a jail tour. And that is another eye-opening and informative tour day when we get to see kind of behind the scenes on things.
Have y'all looked at like CHOA since it's now here?
We have, and so one of the things we've been struggling with as our class has gotten bigger is finding locations that can accommodate 60 to 70 people.
Yeah.
And then it's also, charter buses can only hold about 57 to 60 people, so we're kind of limited by some of those logistics.
Right.
But yeah, we've heard really great things about CHO, and we have some alumni or Children's Hospital where we have some alumni from Children's Hospital as well, but it's just those logistics. But last year we went to Mercy Care.
Oh, in Chamblee?
Yeah. Well, we actually went to the one on DeKalb Avenue, so because we were heading to Grady and we stopped.
Okay.
But I know we're trying to go to the one in Chamblee this year for Health Day. We're working on that right now.
We're doing a children's cancer event at Phipps Plaza.
Ooh.
And it's going to be tied in with CHOA, of course. So that's kind of our getting into the medical tourism side and how CHOA is helping these kids and all.
It's amazing.
So we're excited about that podcast or interviews. Not sure the total setup yet, but
that'll be fascinating.
That's going to be branching out our first time in kind of the medical world.
Ooh. Well, and that's what we've got partnerships where we work with. There's so many medical folks in DeKalb County, but Emory Healthcare, and we went to recently Hillendale, where they had their 20th anniversary, and learning about the technology of their switched over to the all Apple technology behind the scenes, and getting to learn about how they did that, how they worked with the nurses and the administrators and the doctors of what they needed for their technology, and the patient care, the interfaces where you walk into a patient room now and everything's on the screen or on a tablet, and the AI that's taking the doctor's notes so the doctor's not having to write or dictate. And it's just, the technology and healthcare, and that's, economic development and workforce. That's going to be, I think, continuing to be one of the best jobs.
Do you know the Emory Spine and Orthopedic Hospital?
Mm-hmm.
They do
On
surgeries
Lawrenceville?
there on Lawrenceville.
Mm-hmm.
It is a huge producer of people getting help.
Oh, I see.
Because from the tourism side, we have extended stays that occur because they're at the Tucker Hospital getting surgery, and then they need to have care before they can literally be like released.
Wow.
But they're staying in our hotels an extended time so they can go to the Emory Hospital.
That's fascinating. You don't think about that aspect.
Yeah. It's interesting because you're getting the help you need, and we're helping provide the ability to have a restful recovery. So it's pretty cool.
And kind of a more comfortable environment than being at the hospital.
Right.
Because,
Right.
that's a lot.
Because you want to get out of there kind of, I guess, as quick as possible.
Yeah.
With insurance plus just from a recovery standpoint.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's and that's another one I was surprised was Kaiser, where they have some surgery kind of centers around that it's just a different model and we've been to some behind the scenes at Kaiser as well. It's just learning about that and their testing labs. It's just anyway. I love there's so many things about DeKalb County that are new and exciting. I mean, Lula Hills. Seeing that, North DeKalb transitioning over to Lula Hills, seeing North Lake Mall and how that's transitioning over, and I believe there's the Science Museum.
Yeah, and the new Embry Science Museum, which is like one of them in the country, that's based here in North Lake.
Which is
We're excited
amazing.
about that.
And hearing now Fernbank Science Center getting ready to go through their renovation, I think that's going to be interesting, and because I went there when my daughter was younger a lot, and now we go for more of events. But just seeing how things continue to transform in DeKalb is pretty cool and inspiring.
Really is. So tell us, some of your goals is to build bridges. So what's some of the things you're doing there?
That's part of our Leadership DeKalb's kind of vision, mission is learning and then connecting. So really connecting leaders within the class. People get pretty close, but having that go-to person, learning that in DeKalb County, well, and everywhere, we're not silos. Everything is interconnected, interrelated. Education, healthcare, economic development, all needing to work together. And so building those bridges in the class, and then through alumni events like our annual dinner, we're working on it, really hoping next spring to have a leadership summit, so we could kind of bring together the alumni who. Annual dinner is great, but it's more of a social thing. Right. And so bringing together folks who, it's changed so much since I went through the class in 2017, and kind of, all right, come back and get kind of an update on some of the things. Since you went through the class, here's now what's going on in DeKalb, and getting updates. So during those events, seeing the connections between folks and either passing actual business cards or, electronic, digital.
That's what I do.
I got blank. It's just like printing costs. You got to watch printing costs. So building those bridges, but also trying to do more community projects. We're partnered with a lot of nonprofits. We were mentioning Buford Highway earlier. We love Buford Highway, 100 Black Men of DeKalb. We've done some candidate forums with them. We've done some voter registration. We've done some service projects on Martin Luther King Jr. Day with Rotary clubs, NCNW, some junior league. We try and really build those bridges with our community partners, but also have our alumni build bridges. And we've started focusing some on service, giving back. We've done that for a long time with our community service projects, where the class would get projects with nonprofits in DeKalb County and try to help them out in some way. And so we're revamping that, but continuing to try and do that through our organization to connect, build those bridges.
So a question with next year, at least in the tourism world, sports world, we're talking FIFA World Cup.
Yes.
And I know I've done a presentation to a Caribbean Association, presenting in 2 different presentations in Clemson University. I'm down at a huge national sports event for 2 days, and I'm presenting all FIFA. FIFA World Cup marketing, things like that we're doing here in DeKalb for the FIFA World Cup. Have you all looked at doing something revolving around FIFA for next year?
Not revolving around it, no, actually, we haven't, but we've started talking about how to incorporate learning about that during our program days, either on Economic Development Day or on a Quality of Life kind of Arts and Culture Day. But no, that's a great idea.
It definitely, it fit both, but it would definitely fit your Economic Development Day.
Right.
And then the other thing you can tie in together is, you mentioned 100 Black Men. Mm-hmm. So 100 Black Men of DeKalb and Discover DeKalb is hosting the first of the HBCU Football Classic this October.
Yes.
But we have first right of refusal for 4 years.
Oh.
So we are going to be the home for HBCU Football Classic, but what appears to be even more importantly, the bands.
And I was going to say that. I was like, where are the bands going to be? That's what I think everybody will want to
So
know.
the Battle of the Bands is actually going to be October the 5th at Hofford Stadium.
Okay. And
The October the 4th is the game
and that's
between
Mercedes-Benz?
FAMU and
FAMU.
Mississippi Valley at Mercedes-Benz.
Okay.
And then Sunday is going to be at Hofford Stadium, the Battle of the Bands.
Wow.
And you got to figure these bands are huge.
Yes. And
Trying to get them booked in DeKalb with the amount of rooms and doubles they require.
Right. And the parking lots for the buses and the equipment that they bring, I can
They have
imagine.
semis bringing the band's equipment in.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
So, and then you've got, like, FAMU band is 100 marching members, not counting coaches, directors and all that.
Right.
Then you've got to have the majorettes, and we're looking at doing golf, having a golf team
Oh, wow.
from each school or the presidential type team. And then you have alumni coming in. So the reason I'm bringing up sports so much is because next year will be the second year of HBCU Football Classic. Next year will be the first year of us bringing the HBCU Men and Women's Soccer Championship Weekend
Okay.
at Silverback Stadium. And in June and July, of course, is FIFA.
Right.
So we're doing a lot on sports tourism next year, and I'm doing a lot of speaking on sports tourism. And then we have a refugee soccer independent film that's about to wrap up.
Oh.
So, and
Yeah.
then besides the documentary on Beaufort Highway,
Right.
so all this is for next year's focus on the world coming to Atlanta
Okay.
and DeKalb.
We need to talk
So
more
we can do
about it,
something like
'cause I
that
would
for you
love
all if that would be of interest.
Yes, definitely. And the sports is huge because I think with FIFA that there were like 11 locations in DeKalb County that were going to be involved with I know it's kind of spread out around the region, but that I think is amazing.
Yeah, because they have 2 training centers up in Cobb,
Okay.
up at the Atlanta United facility and up at Kennesaw State. And they're going to be doing some like club teams training.
Wow.
But then we're also going to be doing some art-related activities with international film
Okay.
that's going to be in Montreal, Canada, DeKalb County, and Mexico City, the only place in North America.
Oh, that's amazing.
And we're doing that, and we're working right now on partnerships with Montreal, Quebec, and Canada for DeKalb.
That's like sister
So,
cities
yeah.
and partnering.
So
Yeah,
some
that's
really
great.
cool
That's
sports-related activations that's tourism-related, sports-related, film, art-related.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of
Mm.
cool activations going on,
All right.
all from sports.
We would love to be more involved. I'm more a college football fan, but I support all sports because
Yeah.
it's just exciting and it does help. It brings in so much to our area economically, and then the arts and culture. You're right. I hadn't thought about that aspect.
Just tie it
of
all in
sports.
together. Culinary.
Oh yes.
We're looking at right now, as of 2 days ago, a big culinary event for February.
in DeKalb.
In
or-
DeKalb.
Okay, because that's one
Tied
of the
in with
things-
Black History Month.
Oh, that's
Have black chefs.
yes.
And then a premier black chef from New York is what we're looking at. So this is just 2 days ago. We're putting that together now for February.
Well, that's one of my Beaufort Highway. Their restaurants and just we love Beaufort Highway had their feast and just getting exposed to. We love going down there and we're doing Michelin restaurants. We're trying to.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many in DeKalb. We're trying to go through all those.
So these are great things for Leadership DeKalb to be a part of and to promote. And since you're producing such great I guess they're recruits in the beginning and then they're graduates. So producing such great graduates
Yes.
from now through the past.
Yes.
So it's just a great organization to be a part of.
It really is, and after celebrating 40 years next year, and having a chance to kind of look back of who's gone through the program, what we've done, what we've learned, what's changed, and looking to the future because DeKalb County just so many opportunities, and I know with arts and culture and tourism, and it's just pretty cool, and I'm excited and that's what I get excited about. making our leaders, it's kind of like if you know better, you do better. And if you know
Right.
more, you can do more. And so that's why I feel like Leadership DeKalb is we try to, we hear a lot that it's, you're drinking from the fire hose because it's so much information, but, just hoping you can take a bucket of that into back to your village or your house and use that in some way to kind of continue and the ripples that kind of keep, our program, the ripples that go out and change everything in DeKalb County. Because I don't know, we just feel like better leaders are just going to make DeKalb better, and that's where.
Well, I firmly believe what you're doing because I right before the podcast, I'm teaching tourism management at Clemson University. So my big thing is to give my students, they're like junior seniors, all these different aspects that's good for their career going forward. And the more things I involve them in, the more ideas and topics. They're not going to remember them all, obviously.
Right.
But if they can do what you said, piece it all together. So they go to Leadership DeKalb and you have this huge number of things you're discussing. But if they can hear it, think about it, process it, and tie it to something they're doing,
Yes.
then you've done a phenomenal job, I believe.
I hope that is our goal. Kind of, if we can spark something that you have a passion about, that you can move forward and kind of be activated or inspired to use what you learned at Leadership DeKalb and the connections. Again, that's what we were talking about earlier about building these bridges and just not having the silo and the collaboration. It's just, I think everybody wins, and it's pretty cool.
Well, it sounds like you don't really need any more people to try to apply, but with that, if someone's interested in applying or someone's interested in sponsoring, I'm assuming you'll take sponsorship money.
Yes.
How do they find you?
Right now, well, you can always email me at shara@leadershipdekalb.org. But also, we do have a website, leadershipdekalb.org. Our offices are located in downtown Decatur. We've just been there for a very long time, so always happy to have folks stop by the office. But we're working on a new website right now. We're really trying to have a member portal and directory and things like that to help with our alumni, but also we can better give information about our events and community events. We in our newsletter and on our website, we hope to advertise or bring notice to activities that our community partners are doing. We've done that. Decide DeKalb Chamber, Discover DeKalb. We really tried to work with them to let our alumni know what's going on in DeKalb County.
So leadershipdekab.org.
Yes.
Leadershipdekab.org for more information.
Yes, please.
Find out about what you're doing. If you want to sponsor, get involved. Leadershipdekab.org.
Yes.
So it's very exciting.
Yes.
So, this part, I'll just say, anything else you want to talk about?
I think James, or like at the very end, ask her what her favorite thing to do in DeKalb is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't think of anything. I was looking at the notes too.
Do you have any great stories to share?
About Leadership DeKalb?
Yeah, or about your events?
I don't know. It's like, what happens at Leadership DeKalb?
There you go. It's like Vegas.
It is. And we do actually kind of say that because we do have a lot of leaders, and we talk about some social media guidelines and things like that. But also, we want, a lot of topics are difficult or can be controversial, and we want it to be kind of a brave space where folks feel able to talk. So we do kind of talk about not complete confidentiality, but before you post something or before you reach out to somebody and say, oh, so-and-so said this at our last organization or our last program day, just be mindful because we all are leaders and have to kind of make sure we're serving our organizations.
That's a great point. So anybody interested in joining, it won't go anywhere.
Right.
So you can feel free to share.
Yes.
And discuss, invent.
Yes.
Great thing to know about. So that's perfect.
And we try, we're all, we all have titles but we kind of say when you have your Leadership DeKalb name tag, but we try not to be the title or the position. It's just we're all kind of equal. We're learning.
And that's important.
Yes. And
Very important.
we used to have an emerging leaders program for kind of below, I believe, age 35. And then we realized after a couple of years that there is some beauty in having a diversity of age and within a class. So our most recent class, I think, is from 25 to 65. And we do try, and we always, we love applications because we want to make sure we have enough folks to have a balanced class that reflects the DeKalb County community, and from professions, zip codes, age, and everything in between. We really are intentional about it and trying to make sure we have a good balance.
So if you are older, you still have great wealth of knowledge that you can participate. So that's 100%. Good to know. Or if you're young, you still got a different type of knowledge perspective to participate.
And we talk about this. I learned when I went through Leadership DeKalb, I kind of came into it thinking I was going to learn how to be a leader, but it's really more. You're already a leader. We're just trying to give you.
Broaden your horizons, broaden your
right. Yes, thank you. Yeah, you're already a leader. How can you be a better leader? How you can broaden your horizons, learn more about DeKalb County, and where you could fit in and help out and make a difference. And it is only bad thing is time wise where it's 1 day a month, and then closing retreats are 2 days at the beginning and the end. But that's folks who are able to take that time off of work, because we know it's not always easy to get that time off, and there are some people are allowed to miss a couple of days and things like that, but it's hard when you're a leader. And we had program days going on last year, and we had to pivot and change because there was a presidential campaign rally going on in Clarkston, or we had the ice and snowstorm in January, so we're always having to pivot and change. And
that's part of leadership too, though.
Exactly. And having leaders, it was really, really nice with some of our alumni who were able to let me know, like, hey, just heads up, we know it's coming down and it may impact you. And I appreciate that as a person, a friend, but also as a leader of the organization. It enabled me to get on top of things, start looking at alternatives and options. So it's cool.
Well, before we close, I always like to ask, if you have friends coming in, VFR, visiting friends and relatives, what are the 2 must-dos in DeKalb County, whether it's an attraction, a restaurant, outing, whatever? It doesn't matter. What do you think?
My top 2 would be Buford Highway. I mean, just the restaurants, and we like to go to the grocery stores on Buford Highway as well, just kind of look around, DeKalb Farmers Market, all those areas. Also, one of the things we love to bring folks to is the DeKalb History Center.
Okay.
And it's another kind of hidden gem that folks don't realize is there. And I think being in the city of Decatur Square, there's also so much to do around there with, I know they're doing a renovation as well, but the history walking tours that they have an exhibit. You're talking about Buford Highway. DeKalb History Center has their Memorial Drive exhibit going on right now.
Okay.
Which I don't know a lot about that. I'm looking forward to going and seeing that exhibit. But I think those 2 things. I mean, there's so much. I love Fernbank. I love the parks, Mason Mill, tennis, Stone Mountain to go out and bike ride, things like that. But those 2, I would say, Buford Highway and DeKalb History Center, downtown Decatur, are kind of the
very cool. No, I know the History Center is a new one on us. Buford, maybe not.
Okay.
But that's good, because we like to collect these from different people's opinions.
Good. Well, and
so
Decatur, they've started doing some things down there, like Santa on the Square, or just there's some of the they brought back the beach party and things like that.
Well, Decatur is one of the first ones that came out publicly about doing their FIFA viewing parties.
Okay.
So they're going to be doing viewing parties down on the square in Decatur.
And that's where I think, because they just took down the gazebo, and now it's more like an amphitheater, which I think is going to be great.
Yeah.
And
they literally came out a couple months ago, so they were the first ones to jump on that in DeKalb.
That's awesome. Well, and then, the John Lewis statue now outside the courthouse is kind of cool to see, and it's going to be incorporated into that whole square area. It's just, again, it's history. It's just DeKalb is in the middle of it all.
Yep. Well, we appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you
Thanks for
again.
taking your time and doing such a phenomenal job educating our leaders and
Thank you.
promoting it. And I love the concept of building bridges in DeKalb.
I do too. I'm glad we're building bridges together. So thank you again very much.
Well, thank you, and please tune in again for our next show.